If you're wanting to learn how to redraw strand patterns, you want to understand how they're put together, then the traditional way is you look at a pattern like this, then you learn the underlying geometry. That was how I started, how I tried to start, because I was presented with that. So that is your design, that is the underlying geometry, and I was trying to learn because people were teaching that. They were teaching that first, and it just becomes very confusing. I did some technical drawing while I was at school, didn't do that well at it, and I've not done anything since. So for me, I needed to find a really simple way to do it, because I was trying to learn different maths, different technical aspects of it, and I just wasn't getting anywhere with it. So what I found when I was looking at them, I started to see the same things. I started to see the same points in them. One of the main thing was these single white center tesserae. There'd be one in the middle there, and noticing that these strands actually looped around them. They were almost like a focus point that these strands would hang around. So when I saw that, then I started to think, okay, what are the strands doing underneath there? So this is not, this strand finishes here. It goes underneath this one and continues going over the top of that one and then underneath there again. And then when I took apart the structure, you can see there that Solomon's knot is two loops, two chain links interwoven. Once I'd done that, then I could start thinking about the geometry. But a lot of the geometry, because I knew the structure, I realised that you didn't actually need. It helps to understand, it helps if you need more of a framework, but there's a lot of it that you don't need to learn unless you want to. Once you have that idea of the structure, then that makes it so much easier to see. You want to see the structure, then you want to see the geometry if you need to. Let's just try another one. Here we've got one of the most, if not the commonest, border type. There you can see double strand guilloche, a plait, double strand, a plait pattern there. Now, we look at that. The geometry in very simple terms is just that. That's overlapping circles. But if we look at what it actually is, it's two lines that are interwoven. So that is the structure of it. The geometry, yes, you can use it, but once you understand this, it's so much easier, and there's a way of drawing this out that you don't need a lot of the geometry there. Let's try another one. See if you can work out what this one. Let's take a look here. You should have been able to see from what we've done. We started off with a Solomon's knot. Now we have a Solomon's knot with an interwoven square. The geometry, see, if you look at that now, And once you've seen what the structure is, does that make more sense to you? Do you think that learning that before you learned what the structure actually was, do you think that would be easier? Trying to learn all that? When you understand the structure and you can see the points here where the loops, the strands are going round, are looping round. Once you know the points of these, you can actually draw all that in, and you wouldn't even need that. So, names of the design gives us the orientation of what it is. The geometry will give us a control, a framework if we need to contain it, if we need to be very precise with it. But the structure gives us a fluency about the design, about the pattern, and we can see it for what it actually is. We can see it in a three-dimensional form, which if you do that rather than just some flat pattern in a two-dimensional one, we get it into a 3D model, something we could pick up and grab and pull around, and then it makes so much more sense. So I hope that helps.